Hello everyone, welcome to Lakewood Health System's Be Well Videocast. My name is Matt Jensen, Director of Marketing at Lakewood Health System. Today we're going to be talking about mental health and the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, with all of the uncertainty out there, terms like social distancing, distance learning, the impact of COVID-19 that it's having on people's livelihoods, even the fact that we can't even go out to a restaurant right now and have a meal with our family. There's no question that it can start to take a toll on individuals, both adults and children. And so one of the things we also wanted to do today is provide you with some actual tips, strategies, some very tangible steps that you can take to hopefully help start to counterbalance and help us all cope a little bit with some of these thoughts and emotions and feelings that we're all kind of going through together right now. And here to help me talk about that today is Amanda Mithun, Behavioral Health Home Integration Specialist at Lakewood Health System. And before we get started as well, I just want to state that the topics discussed today are for informational purposes only and should not replace the recommendations of your own healthcare provider. So with that, I would like to welcome Amanda Mithun. Amanda, it's great to have you with me today. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Great to be with you today.
Great to have you with us too, Amanda. So let's get started today. My first question, Amanda, I think it's probably safe to say, I know for my own self, we've all probably experienced some anxiety, a little bit of nervous energy around COVID-19 for a variety of different reasons. It's really kind of taken all of our normal routines and kind of thrown them out the window. And so what I would ask of you today is talk about the importance of sort of acknowledging the fact that we're all going through this right now, the feelings, the stressors, whether it's our kids or ourselves. Talk about some of those things and just the fact that it's important to be talking about those with our family and our friends.
Yes, absolutely, Matt. I think it's important to recognize that we are all going through what is now a new normal. Nobody in our lifetime has experienced exactly what we're going through. So I think it's important to stop and recognize all the different emotions that we're feeling. Yes, anxiety is very big right now. We've all felt it. We've kind of watched it over the last couple of months as we've felt maybe more anxiety and then maybe some other emotions like sadness and grief. I think it's important to recognize that we're all grieving. I was reflecting on what grief means today, and I think so often when we hear grief, we think of the loss of a loved one. And while I think that is, we always grieve that, we grieve so many other things in our lives. Like you said, things that are so normal to us, like going to a restaurant or school or graduation ceremonies, all those things. None of that is happening in our lives. And so we're all experiencing this collective grief. And I think it's important to recognize that we don't need to judge ourselves or compare ourselves to others and think, oh, but my life isn't as bad as everyone else. But we need to acknowledge that we're all feeling this. And this is really different and really scary. And I think it's important to recognize that we're not alone in this. We're all feeling it. And so the more we can talk about it and normalize it for each other, I think that's really important. You know, whether it's talking to our spouses or our friends or talking to our children and just acknowledging like, this feels really weird. This is different. This is scary. I was just talking with a friend who was telling me about her teenage son and how he's just really angry. And I said to her, you know, yeah, he is. And that's okay because we're all feeling it. And I explained to her, I said, you know, I think he's grieving. I think he's grieving the loss of his normal school year. He's missing his sports. He's missing his friends. And the more we can talk about it with each other, the more I think we can really work through that.
Great information, Amanda. Really nice. I agree. I think we all are grieving to a certain extent. We've lost, you know, some of that normal and that routine in our lives, and I think that definitely has an impact. So, second question, follow up to that. So what are some tangible things people can do to try to help counterbalance that to have a positive effect on their mental health?
So I always like to talk about self-care. And when we hear that term self-care, people sometimes misunderstand it and think, oh, it's selfish, or it means I have to do something really big for myself, like go and get a manicure or pedicure. While those are great, we can't really do that right now. So it's finding other things we can do to really take care of ourselves, whether it's maybe taking a bubble bath or going for a walk. The small things we can do, especially when we're feeling anxious or scared or angry, just those little things we can do to stop and take care of ourselves. I'm also a huge fan of exercise. I don't always like to call it exercise because sometimes people hear exercise and think, oh, that's a lot of work. But movement, little things you can do to move your body. Maybe try some yoga, do some stretching, do some breathing, or going outside for a walk. I think this warmer weather has just been wonderful for us so that we can get outside and experience that. Another great way to take care of ourselves is just developing a gratitude practice. I love to talk about the exercise that's called 3 Good Things. It's a great way to either start your day or end your day by reflecting on 3 good things. What are 3 good things that happened today? And sometimes people are intimidated, like thinking it has to be really great things. But you know what? Did you get up and get out of bed today? Did you have a nice cup of coffee? Did you have a good laugh? Right there, those are 3 good things. So developing gratitude, because what happens when we start to shift into an attitude of gratitude is we start to see more positive things. Recognizing right now, there's a lot of negativity out there. So how can we shift that focus into some gratitude? And as I talked about, we're all grieving and recognizing that, but also on the flip side, what are some of those positives? Maybe right now, no one you know is sick, and that's wonderful. That's something to be thankful for. And one final thing that I can think of is just really recognizing how much media consumption you're having and how are you feeling after watching the news. I'm really encouraging people to limit their news consumption and also just to monitor their social media. And how are you feeling afterwards? Because some people I'm hearing are feeling really negative afterwards. So recognize that and maybe take a little break. It's important to stay informed, but not overconsumption.
Fantastic information, Amanda. The 2 things that really stood out to me that I know I've put into place, we've done a lot of walking, the sunshine and the warm weather has made a huge difference for me. And then limiting your media consumption. I think it's perfect. There's so much negativity out there right now. It just sort of fills us up and you can kind of hang on to some of those negative thoughts and emotions and they kind of linger with you throughout the day. So I think that's a great suggestion. Final question for you today, Amanda, and just a little bit more information for our people out there listening is, so if I've tried some of these things, I'm still really struggling, or my kids are struggling, I just don't know what else to do at this point. What are some resources available at Lakewood that might be able to help people put together some strategies to help their mental health on a regular basis?
Yes, I think that's great. Well, we can put these things into practice. It isn't always enough. Sometimes we need a little bit more. And one of the great things about Lakewood Health Systems is that we do offer behavioral health services. So we have on-site therapy and medication management. And in order to be seen by someone here at Lakewood, all you have to do is visit your primary care physician and get a referral. And what's really great right now is while you can see them in person, we are offering telehealth. So some people are calling in and doing their sessions via phone or doing it via Zoom session. And I think that's great because, while we are often feeling very isolated, it's a great way to have just extra support.
Fantastic information, Amanda. And the thing I always like to tell people as well is don't be ashamed to reach out for that help. It's so important. If we need it, please reach out and get the help that you need to have an impact on your life. And so thank you, Amanda, for joining me today. It's been great to talk with you. I want to thank everybody out there listening. Be safe and be well.
Thanks a lot, Matt. I appreciate you having me on here to talk about things that are very important.
You bet. My pleasure. Have a great day.